Hi everybody, this is Crystal. So today I'm going to show you how to make the square that you see in the thumbnail for that blanket. Now, this is not a beginner tutorial, so you're going to need to know how to sew squares together. You're going to need to have some knowledge of how to sew your own squares together, because I really don't go over that if you're wanting to make that blanket. This tutorial, I'm pretty much just going to show you how to make this square. The granny pop-up, you can see it pops up there. I got to cut some tails, but that's what it looks like from the underneath. I think it turned out really cool. It's about an 8-inch square. Now at the end, I will tell you how we sewed it together at the retreat. That blanket's from the retreat, that crochet retreat that I had, but I won't show you. But you don't even have to make a blanket with this square. You can do whatever you want to do with it. But this tutorial is going to show you how to make it this square. So let's go ahead and get started on it. Okay, a special thanks to Hobium Yarns for providing the yarn for this video and for the crochet retreat. That granny square blanket that's in the picture, they provided the yarn for that. So kind of them. I'm using their, forgive me if I say it wrong, Kartopu Melange Wool Tweed. Super nice yarn. It's very, very pretty. It is a bulky 5, and there's 185 yards in each one of these skeins. I'm sorry. And you'll be able to get 2 squares out of a skein. As you can see in the blanket from the picture, we did 30 squares. You can do more or less, or you can use the square for something else, but that's what we did. And as far as the white around it and sewing it together, we used 3 skeins of white to sew it together and to put a single crochet border around it, if you're wanting to do what we did. Now, I will put a link to Hobium down in the website, or down in the description box, so we link to their website. If you could check them out, I mean, they got some beautiful, beautiful yarns. You see that blanket we did, that's like all the colors of this that they have. It's so pretty. They were so kind to donate it all. It's an acrylic wool blend. It's got a little bit of viscose in it, and that's what the fleck is there that you see. But it's pretty much an acrylic wool blend, a bulky 5. So hit that link in the description. Check out their site. Check out this yarn and all the beautiful colors that they have. I'll also put a link to their Facebook page and their Instagram, so maybe you could give them a like and a follow. That'd be really cool. That way you never miss any of their sales or anything they have. I mean, they got super fast shipping, 2-day shipping and everything. I mean, I highly recommend Hobium. Their yarns are very, very beautiful. And then I'm going to be using a size J, which is a 6mm crochet hook. Okay, and I want to take a second to ask you not to forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you look in the description box of this video or any of my videos, you'll see an auto subscribe link. If you just click on that, you'll be automatically subscribed and you'll never miss any of my videos. So you want to start out with a slip knot on your hook, and now we're going to work a chain of 3. And now we're going to slip stitch into the first stitch to form a ring. Just like that. Now we're going to chain 3, and this chain 3 is going to count as a double crochet here and for the rest of the granny square. So there we got 1 double crochet. Now what we're going to do is work 11 more double crochets through the center of the ring. So 11, and then counting this one, we'll have a total of 12 double crochets. So just go ahead and yarn over, go right through the center, and work your 11 double crochets. Okay, once you make it back all the way back around to the beginning of round 1, you want to go ahead and end with the slip stitch into your first double crochet, which is that beginning chain 3. So go right into the top of that chain 3 and slip stitch. And now you'll have 12 double crochets at the end of round 1. Round 2, we're going to chain 3, which remember will count as our first double crochet. And now we're going to work another double crochet right there into that same spot that we just slip stitched into. Just like that. So round 2, we're going to work 2 double crochets in every single stitch around. So we'll go right over here to the next stitch. Sometimes it gets a little hidden, see how, because of that chain 3, but you got to make sure you get that first stitch. And you work 2 double crochets. Just 1 and 2, and 2 doubles in every stitch back to the beginning. Okay, once you make it back around to the end of round 2, you should have 24 stitches. You want to go ahead and end it by slip stitching into the top of that first chain 3 there. Just like that. Now round 3 is the bobble stitch row. So what we need to do to make the bobbles face on the right side is we need to chain 1 and turn our work. You work the bobbles on the wrong side of your work. That way they bobble out on the front side. Okay, now what we do for the bobble is we're going to go right back in the same stitch right here. So we're going to yarn over and go into that stitch and drop a loop. Then we're going to yarn over and go through the first 2 loops on our hook. Like that. We're going to do that 4 times total. So that was 1, 2, 3, one more time, 4, and you'll have 5 loops that remain. Yarn over, go through all 5, and then single crochet directly into the next stitch, just like that. And when you turn it around, you'll see you got a bobble there on the other side. So again, we're going to bobble into the next stitch. So we're going to yarn over, just go right into the next stitch, drop a loop, yarn over, go through the first 2 loops, and you want to do that 4 times. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops that remain, yarn over, go through all 5, single crochet directly into the next stitch, and we're going to repeat this all the way around until we get back to the beginning. Again, bobble into the next stitch, and single crochet into the next. So bobble, single all the way around until you get back to the beginning. And it's okay if it curves in like this. It's going to do that. You're not doing nothing wrong if it curves in. Okay, once you make it all the way around, your last stitch should have been a single crochet, and you want to end with the slip stitch into top of this first bobble. And now you should have 12 bobbles when you flip it back around. So we're going to go ahead and chain 1 and turn our work back around. Now we're not going to be turning our work anymore. That's the last time. And as you can see, it's all flipped up. That's fine. It's going to be like that. So for row 4, we're going to chain 3, which counts as our first double. Well, we already chained 1, so we're going to just do 2 more chains. So now we have a total of a chain 3. So what we want to do is put 2 doubles into the next stitch, which is actually the single crochet right here. 2 doubles. And then the next stitch, which will be on top of this bobble, we're going to put 1 double. So if you kind of just flip it up a little bit, just yarn over, go right on top of this bobble and do a double crochet, just one double. Now the next stitch is the single crochet in between the bobbles, and it gets 2 double crochets. So 2 in the same stitch. And then 1 double crochet on top of the next bobble. So just kind of take it, flip it up a little bit, and you'll be able to see right here on top of it, the 1 double crochet. 2 double crochets into the next single. And 1 double in the top of the next bobble. So we're just going to repeat this pattern all the way around until we get to the end of round 4. 2 doubles into the next single. And 1 double in the top of the next bobble. 2 into the next single and 1 into the next bobble, all the way around, back to the beginning. Okay, I've come to the end of round 4, and your last stitch should have been 2 double crochets into that last single. And here's the chain 3 that we started with, which is on top of this bobble. Go ahead and end with the slip stitch into the top of that chain 3. And now you'll have a total of 36 stitches, and it's okay, it's still gonna look like this. That's why it's the granny pop-up, because it starts to flare out later. This part stays popped up. So it'll lay flat later once we start squaring it off. Well, this won't, but the square will lay flat. Okay, for round 5, we're going to go ahead and chain 3, which counts as our first double crochet. And now we're going to do a front post double crochet around the next stitch. So go right around it and do a front post double crochet. And now the next stitch is going to be our increase stitch. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a regular double crochet right on top of it. And then we're going to put a front post double crochet around the same stitch. So we double crocheted in the top of it. Now we're going to go around the same one and front post double crochet. Just like that. And then we're going to kind of repeat that. So we're going to put 1 double crochet into the top of the next stitch, 1 front post double crochet around the post of the next stitch, and then the increase stitch is the next stitch, so we're going to put 1 double crochet into the top of it, and then 1 front post double crochet around the post of the same stitch. Again, repeat it again. 1 double into the next stitch, 1 front post double around the next stitch, and then the next stitch is our increase, so we're going to put 1 double crochet into the top of it, and then 1 front post double crochet around the same stitch. So we're just going to repeat that all the way around. For round 5, double, 1 double in the next, 1 front post double into the next, and then a double and a front post double into the next. And then you repeat it again, a double, a front post double, and the next stitch will be a double and a front post double. And you can see that the post stitches kind of start making a little bit of a V, and that's what you want. So go ahead and repeat that pattern all the way around, back to the beginning. Okay, I'm coming to the end of round 5, and you should have ended with the increase stitch where you did 1 double and a front post double into the same stitch. Then you want to go ahead and end by slip stitching into your beginning chain 3. And that'll end round 5. And now you should have a total of 48 stitches. So this is what it's starting to look like. Kind of like a little bitty top hat, huh? Okay, so for round 6, we're going to chain 3, which counts as a double crochet. Now we're going to put 1 double crochet right back into the same stitch. So right there. And now we're going to put a front post double crochet into the next stitch. And you can see that it is a front post from the previous row. So all our posts are going to line up. So go right through there and front post double crochet. And then we're going to put 1 double crochet into the top of the next stitch. And then we're going to put a front post double crochet into the next, which is a post from the previous row. So go right around that and do a front post double crochet. Now we're going to kind of repeat that, what we just did. So the next stitch is going to get 2 double crochets into the same stitch. Front post into the next stitch. One double into the next. Front post into the next. Just like that. Repeat it again. 2 doubles into the next. Front post into the next. 1 double into the next. Front post into the next. And repeat it again. 2 doubles into the next. And then front post into the next. 1 double into the next. Front post into the next. And just keep repeating that pattern, and you can see that the posts all stay lined up. So they're coming out like a V. So go ahead and repeat that pattern all the way around back to the beginning. It's 2 doubles into the next, front post into the next, 1 double into the next, and front post into the next. That's the repeat all the way back around to the beginning. Okay, you should have ended round 6 with a front post double crochet there, and in by slip stitching into your beginning chain 3 like that. And now you'll have a total of 60 stitches, and this is what it kind of looks like. So now we're going to start squaring it off. So round 7, what we're going to do is a chain of 4. Now this chain of 4 counts as a triple crochet. Now working in the same stitch here that we just slip stitched into, we're going to work another triple crochet, a chain of 2, and 2 more triples into the same stitch. And this is going to form our first corner of our square, just like that. Now we're going to put 1 double crochet into the next 5 stitches. So make sure you get this first one here, because sometimes it looks like it's lost. But go ahead and make sure you get that and double crochet into the first 5. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we're going to do a half double crochet into the next 4, half double. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to go back to doubles. So we're going to work 1 double crochet in the next 5 again. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now the next stitch is going to be a corner. So we're going to work 2 triple crochets. So 1 into the same stitch, 2, and then we're going to chain 2 and work 2 more triple crochets all into the same stitch. Just like that. So now we got 2 corners formed. Okay, so now we're going to kind of repeat what we just did. So 1 double crochet into the next 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Half double into the next 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Double into the next 5. 2, 3, 4. Oh. And 5, and the next stitch will be a corner, so it's going to get 2 triples, a chain 2, and 2 more triples. So we're just going to repeat this pattern all the way around until we get back to our starting point. Just like that. Now it's not going to look extremely square right now. That's fine. We'll get it all fixed up. Don't worry about it. Okay, I'm coming to the end of round 7, and you want to go ahead and end with a slip stitch into your beginning chain 4 into the top of it, like that. And now you should have a total of 72 stitches. So we're going to start round 8 by slip stitching 2 times to this first chain 2 space. So there's 1 and 2. Okay, now we're going to chain 3, which counts as a double, and we're going to work another double into that chain 2 space, a chain of 2, and then we're going to work 2 more doubles. So that's our corner now. 2 doubles, chain 2, 2 doubles. Now we're going to work 1 back post double crochet across every stitch until we get to our next chain 2 space. So the back post is just a yarn over, go around the post from the back like that, so the post is on the back of your hook, and then you go ahead and do your double crochet. And we want to do that in every single stitch all the way until we get to our next corner or our next chain 2 space. Back post I think is a little bit more trickier than the front post, but once you get the hang of it, it's actually pretty easy to do. And you can see by doing this, we're adding a little ridge on the front. So go ahead and do 1 back post double in every stitch until you get to your next chain 2 space. Okay, I've made it to my next chain 2 space, so what we're going to do is just put a corner. We're going to do our 2 doubles, just regular doubles, a chain of 2, and 2 more double crochets into the same stitch. And now we have our second corner made. Now we're just going to repeat that all the way around. Back post double crochet in every stitch until you get to your next corner. Then it's 2 doubles, chain 2, 2 doubles, back post double crochet in every stitch until you get to your next corner, and just repeat it until you get back to the beginning. Okay, I come to the end of round 8, and you want to end with a slip stitch into your beginning chain 3. Like that. And now you're going to have a total of 88 stitches. So for round 9, we're going to slip stitch 2 times to this first chain 2 space. And we're going to do a chain of 3. We're going to go ahead and work our corner here. So it's going to be 2 doubles, chain 2, 2 doubles. Well, this counts as our first one. So we're going to go right back in and put another double, chain of 2, and 2 more doubles. Like that. And now what we're going to do is just work 1 double crochet in every single stitch all the way across until we get to our next chain 2 space or our next corner. So no back post, no front post, just 1 regular double crochet in every stitch until you get to your next chain 2 space. Just like that. Okay, I've made it to my next chain 2 space. And go ahead and work your corner here, your 2 doubles, chain of 2, and 2 more doubles, all into that same chain space. And then we just continue around working 1 double crochet in every stitch until we get back, or till we get to the next chain 2 space. Then when we get to the next chain 2 space, we work our 2 doubles, chain 2, 2 doubles, and then continue with 1 double crochet in every stitch. And we're just going to repeat that until we get back to the beginning. Okay, I've made it to the end of round 9, and now you should have a total of 104 stitches, and you want to end with a slip stitch into your beginning chain 3. Now we got 1 more round, so we're going to slip stitch 2 times to our first chain 2 space for start round 10, and we're going to chain 1. Now we're going to work in this chain 2 space 2 single crochets, a chain of 2, and 2 more single crochets, all into that chain 2 space. So that's kind of the corner now for this round. Now we're going to work 1 single crochet in every stitch until we get to our next chain 2 space. So this is just like an edging round. When we get to our next chain 2 space, 1 single in every stitch. When we get to our next chain 2 space, we'll work 2 singles, a chain 2, and 2 singles. And then we'll continue working 1 single crochet in every stitch till we get to our next chain 2 space. And we'll work 2 singles, chain 2, 2 singles, and we're just going to repeat that all the way around back to the beginning. Okay, once you make it to the end of round 10, you should have 120 stitches. Go ahead and end with the slip stitch into your first single crochet, not the chain one, but the first single crochet. Clip your yarn and tie off. And that is it. I kind of just pull the corners, get her all squared up. But that's it. You can see how it pops up there. The granny pop-up. Kind of looks like a volcano, I guess. That's what my husband said. That's all there is to it. Now for the blanket that we made. As I said in the beginning, I really wasn't going to go over too much how to sew it together. But what we did is we went around it again with 1 more row of single crochet in the color that we were going to sew it together with, which was white. And then all we did was flipped our squares over this way and single crocheted them together with the white, or whatever color that you use to border it with. Single crochet it together. You don't have to single crochet it together. That's just what we did. You can sew it together with a yarn needle. You can slip stitch it together however you normally sew squares together. But that's just how we did it for that blanket, in case you were interested. But that's it. That's all there is to it. I hope you enjoyed my tutorial. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. If you haven't already, remember there's that auto subscribe link in the description box. Also in the description box, you'll find a link to Hobium yarns. Don't forget to check them out. They got lots of beautiful yarns there. So go over there and see what they got to offer. Just follow that link below. And until next time, have a good day.